Pave Motors builds premium, technology-forward electric motorbikes, distinctive in design and exhilarating in rider experience. At the forefront of a new mobility category, merging the best qualities of a motorcycle with that of an e-bike, Pave's first proof of concept is the revolutionary Pave BK. Sleek, lightweight, intuitive to use, and exhilarating to ride, the Pave BK is equipped with industry-first sharing technology set to disrupt the two-wheeled mobility space and create a community of riders around the world. Pave was founded in 2019 by brothers Nico and Casper, who grew up in Berlin, recognized the dire need for clean, easy transportation around the city. At the time, their options proved undesirable and were heavy, noisy, environmentally unfriendly combustion engine scooters. Upon relocating to Brooklyn, advances in the development of electric drive trains and batteries opened a world of new possibilities. Their dream to pioneer a silent and emissions-free mode of transportation that would enable a more sustainable way of living could finally become a reality. And today, within the Are We There Yet transportation-focused video podcast series, I'm really excited to speak with the founders of Pave Motors, brothers Nico and Casper. Nico, Casper, welcome to Are We There Yet? Really excited to talk today. Hello.
Hey, Grant. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, hey, how's it going? Thanks for having us.
Doing great. Thank you. You're very welcome. Very welcome. I'm really excited for our conversation today, and I really appreciate each of you taking the time within what I can imagine is a very, very busy schedule to speak today within the podcast series. So thanks so much for taking the time to do it. I'm really excited to learn more about the company and each of you, but I did, think it was really cool within just kind of saying hello this afternoon that you, in fact, provided the greatest testimonial. I understand that each of you got to work this morning on a Pave e-bike. Is that correct?
Yeah, we did. I mean, there's really no better way to test our own product than to ride it ourselves. So we really try to ride it as often as possible, just to collect as much data as we can. We have a special module on our bikes specifically to collect data, analyze it, and just make tweaks here and there just to make it better for our customers.
Yeah, that's all constant product improvement. It sounds like that's really cool, and I imagine your commute is a lot of fun every morning. So that's great to hear. Well, as I shared, I'm really excited to learn more about the company. I'm a big fan of the company. I definitely believe that you're very much at the forefront of the mobility, evolution. I think that we're moving in a direction that's very positive, and we need to kind of change the way that we move around the world. And I think that you're very much at the forefront of that space. And so I just love what you've accomplished with your vehicle and with the company, and just really excited to learn more. But I'm also very curious, about learning more about each of you. I've really enjoyed just getting to know you a little bit and learn more about your background. And so I'd love to learn, a little bit more about each of you personally. You mind maybe sharing something that you enjoy doing, maybe at a personal level, outside of course, building an incredible company and really defining the future of mobility. What do you like doing for fun?
Casper, you want to?
Yeah, I'll go first. Yeah, I mean, not too much time at the moment, but when we find pockets, I recently got into climbing, so that's kind of what I like doing outside, because it's like a puzzle to me almost, when you're standing in front of the wall, kind of figuring out your route. So really got into that, and then obviously riding the bike as much as we can, because that's amazing to do. So that's definitely top of my list to do in my free time.
I love that. Awesome.
And for me, in the free time, I like to surf a lot. So that is my main hobby, I guess, outside of Pave, is surfing. Kind of try to surf all year round. So I'm looking forward to the warmer days now, finally. It's freezing waters here in New York. So, but whenever I can find time, that's my main other focus, basically.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, I definitely see a trend here in what you enjoy doing personally and professionally. It seems to be all about just staying outside, climbing, surfing, riding motorbikes and motorcycles. So it sounds like y'all really enjoy just kind of staying outside and enjoying the world.
Yeah, definitely. Pretty much.
Yeah. That's really cool. That's cool. Well, I know that you've seen really firsthand, both growing up in Berlin and in Brooklyn now, that there really is a need for easy transportation in and around cities, especially, and you've seen that firsthand, and I imagine there's a lot of drive behind the vehicle and the organization. But for maybe those that haven't seen this or experienced it as much as you have, growing up in cities like that, you mind maybe telling us a little bit more about really why there's a need for a new way of moving around, especially within cities?
Yeah, I can kind of go back a little bit and kind of tell you where we started and where that idea came from, because it ties directly into the way we see it.
Thank you.
When we started the company in 2019, the way we were seeing the two-wheeler market was kind of split in two. On one hand, you had traditional e-bikes, so pedelecs, that have a relatively weak motor. The rider still has to pedal, so it's not a truly effortless ride, and it can't really replace a car trip because you don't have space for a second passenger. There's limited storage space, so the application is really not as versatile as, let's say, a motorcycle. And so, on the other hand, you had the traditional motorcycle companies coming out with electric vehicles, but not really doing anything from a design standpoint. So simply swapping out the combustion engine for an electric drivetrain. And the way we kind of saw it was that we were thinking we can create something that takes the best of both worlds. So the ease of use of an e-bike, so it's lightweight, really intuitive. But then you take the application that you get from a motorcycle and also the exhilarating ride feeling that you get and combine that in one and really think from redesign an electric two-wheeler from the ground up with an electric drivetrain in mind. And that's really where that idea came from. And that's what we've created with Pave BK, our first model. It really is what we call a fusion between e-bike and e-motorcycle. It's lightweight. We've had tons of people ride it that have zero experience riding motorcycles or scooters, barely been on bicycles, that have felt super comfortable. And it doesn't scream motorcycle, so you don't really have that intimidating feeling when you see it. But it is super, super fun to drive around, and you can sit on it together. There's storage space. So there's really a lot of application. That was really the goal right from the beginning.
Yeah. I love that. Well, gosh, seeing a need like that firsthand, and then, really kind of what options are available today, and really identifying, the reality that there wasn't, really something that was ideal, for moving around cities, and both kind of had their limitations. And so, building a solution like this, really sounds like, it's a perfect solution for the problem that you really saw firsthand. I understand that you started the company in about 2019 and really spent the first year kind of, building prototypes. And I understand that you found what sounds like a perfect home there within the Brooklyn Innovation Hub, and excited to learn a little bit more about that. But I'd love to hear, maybe a story or about that time from kind of going from this idea, starting the company. You kind of recognized that there was a need and not really something that was a perfect solution. So you kind of had this great idea, and then really, turn that into, building prototypes and building a business around it. I think as we all see, there are so many great ideas out there that kind of get lost, before actually turning into something. And so how did you take it from kind of, here's the problem, here's what we think could be, a solution, and kind of taking that from an idea into an actual product? You mind, telling us how you accomplished that?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, so basically started off with some initial prototypes in school, and then a couple of ones afterwards, basically. So I've been enjoying building bikes, essentially. And then, pretty much after that, Nico and me kind of sat down and realized that there's an actual market opportunity for this class. So we really kind of geared up, and that's when we then moved into the space that really helped us kind of get to the next level, essentially. So that's where we actually started building proper prototypes as well. Basically pretty much from there on, I think when we moved in here, I really kind of cranked it up and really got going.
I mean, you asked about kind of the process of going from prototype, I guess, into something that's production ready, if you want. I mean, we iterated through, was it 6 or 7 different?
7 now.
Seven different versions until we landed to at this final model that we're going to release. We really took our time. I mean, we had COVID in between, which kind of everything went to pause, and we tried to use it for the best to iterate even further on the design to really make it to something that we are super happy with and feel comfortable sharing with our customers. But once we had the final prototype, getting that prototype into production, I would say that was by far the hardest thing, and has taken the most amount of time.
Yeah, to be honest, looking back, like the prototype was an easy part in terms of what we had to go through the last, like I would say, 2 years roughly. Yeah. So yeah, it's really another level. And then kind of touching back on your question, I think after building the like initial prototypes and having people write it really kind of gave us the confidence, and we really thought we have something here. So that kind of helped us to really making this like come from sketch to a reality.
Yeah. Definitely. Well, I love that it's something that you were as passionate about, that kind of early on it was more, kind of focused upon really developing a solution. As you shared, you enjoy building bikes. And so it was something really that you were kind of developing and building out of necessity. And then, kind of once, some individuals had the opportunity to kind of experience it and write it themselves, maybe there's something here that, kind of the mass market, would really like to have and enjoy, a solution such as this that we've developed. So I can see how you have been so successful. It clearly sounds like something that you're really passionate about. So I really love to hear that. And that's interesting to hear that, kind of getting it from that idea to the prototypes certainly took some time and was quite an effort, but that you found that kind of taking it from that prototype to actual production kind of presents its own challenges as well. But it sounds like continuing to move through that as well.
Yeah. I mean, our goal is to start production towards the end of next month. So we are really, really close. As I said, we're making as we had our conversation right before this, we're making our final tweaks here and there, things that we find during our test rides that are easy to update.
Yeah, I'm just saying, and I mean, obviously, sitting above our entire assembly line. So we assemble here locally in Brooklyn, basically. It's an entire bike, and it gets shipped out from here as well. So we've developed like a framework, basically, of like our assembly line as well as like inventory that, in theory, can kind of be placed anywhere in the world. So that's something we're pretty proud of, to be honest.
I love to hear that. Yeah, you should be very proud of that. That's incredible. Manufacturing right there in Brooklyn and shipping out to the world. That's amazing. And, there's probably something to it. Lucky number 7 on the prototype, right? So it was the 7th prototype that was finally ready to go to market. So lucky 7. So that makes sense. Yeah. And cool, and I think it says a lot too, that you went through that many iterations of the product and that many prototypes to really get to something to where you said, okay, this is ready to go to market. So I think it says a lot about, the time and the thought and the effort that you put into it, to not just, prototype number 1 or 2 to say, okay, we're ready to go to the market with this, that you really wanted to take your time, it sounds like, with it and develop a solution that kind of perfectly addresses that need. So I think that says a lot about your dedication in the company to go through that many prototypes before you're good with it.
Yeah. No, we're definitely both perfectionists, and we try to make sure everything is right before we start shipping.
Yeah. Well, and as you shared within our conversation, you're even fine tuning and tweaking even as of today, right? On the right end. So you're still just kind of making those last minute kind of touches so that it truly is perfect. So I think that's really cool to hear. You've shared with us, and I think we can understand much better now that, this idea of an easy way to move around the city is very much a solution and just a great alternative for many reasons other than kind of the traditional way of moving around a city. But even more than that, you didn't necessarily have to go in this direction, but even more than that, not only is it kind of an easy way to move around the city, but it's also clean, in terms of the fuel, and it's not kind of your traditional, gasoline engine or other that might, be a little bit worse for the environment. So I think it says a lot that not only have you developed a solution, but one that's clean. Why was that so important in the development of your product?
You mean the part that it's fully electric?
Absolutely. Yeah. As opposed to, probably could have gone in other directions, but kind of made that decision that we want it to be electric. Why was that so important to you and kind of a part of that ideal solution that you envisioned?
I mean, we strongly believe that electric vehicles are the future. It just makes more sense if you think about it from an emission standpoint, especially in cities. There's the emission, but there's also you're reducing noise levels that can reduce stress for everybody living in the cities. I mean, we live in New York, and it's so loud constantly just by cars driving around. Imagine a time where every car and every motorcycle, bicycle, moped is fully electric. It makes the air cleaner, and it will reduce noise levels significantly. And so right from the beginning, it wasn't even a question if we were going to build anything else other than an electric vehicle. And aside from the emission benefits, they're also way more fun to drive. I mean, the acceleration that you get out of them is not comparable to that of a combustion engine, and you don't have to pay for gas, right? So the nice thing is that you can just take the battery out, you plug it into any standard outlet, and you can charge it, and it doesn't cost you anything essentially. So that's why for us, right from the beginning, we wanted to develop an electric two-wheeler.
Yeah. And one more thing to add, I mean, the other benefit of an electric drivetrain is that it kind of opens up new doors, essentially, because you can move things around, like the battery doesn't need to, the gas tank of the motor doesn't need to be fixed into one position. You can move things around, which really opens up a lot of new doors. And with this first one, I think, we've made some pretty good decisions, and we were able to build it up from the ground up, So we weren't stuck in like an initial or pre-existing framework. Basically, we were able to start from like a clean paper.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I love that. That certainly it's very important for the environment and emissions, as you shared, but that there's really a lot of other benefits too, from performance to just storage capability and that sort of thing. So that makes a lot of sense. It's great to hear. It sounds like it really is a perfect solution for the need that we have right now. Another thing that I really like about it is that it also seems to be a lot of fun. And, I'd love to maybe just kind of touch on this for a moment, because I think, one thing that I've always observed is that, motorbike riders, motorcyclists, bicyclists, are all having a lot of fun, almost have kind of a sense of humor that, that they're outside and enjoying the sun and, on a motorbike or a bike or whatever it may be. So, this experience that you provide, it makes a lot of sense. It's very practical, for many reasons, but it also seems to be a lot of fun. And you seem pretty open about, sharing this as another kind of advantage of the vehicle. Why is it important to also kind of provide an experience, for riders?
So I think, given that we are building a new vehicle and a new electric vehicle, I think to get more people excited and interested about electric vehicles and get them on the train, essentially, that electric mobility is the future, it's really important to basically have extra features if you want, or stand out in a way and separate ourselves from the traditional combustion engine options that exist. So fun is obviously one part of it. Driving these things, even if you're going to work, if you're just going on a joyride, our idea is always that we want to encourage people to go to places in cities and suburban areas that they maybe have not been before because it's too far away or it's just not as exciting. But if you have an easy way of getting around, you're much more likely to explore your city or explore different neighborhoods, restaurants, cafes, stores, like anything like that. Every city has so much to showcase. And I think with these vehicles, we're enabling people to really go explore their city or the outskirts of wherever they live. So I think that's a huge importance and of kind of these new electric vehicles, that they separate themselves from the traditional combustion engine vehicles. And the other part from it being super fun to drive, which is something we took into consideration also, was just designing something that is new, looks interesting, and stands out from everything else. And I mean, Casper, you can speak a little bit more on the design process, but we really spent a lot of time designing something that really separates itself and is very appealing to everybody that sees the vehicle.
I mean, our intent, what Nico's touching on, is that we want it to be a more friendly looking vehicle, because you know how usually motorcycles have a very masculine and have a bit more to it, and we kind of wanted to stay away from that and basically go more along of a friendly looking, while still like having power that's like similar to a motorcycle, because it's just this experience that I hope everyone gets to experience it once, because just riding a motorcycle is just, it's just amazing. So we're trying to bring that experience to more people, really.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I love that. There's a lot of psychology behind, I think what you just shared within design, but it's so true. A lot of these motorcycles, it is a very aggressive look and almost looks like the motorcycle wants to fight or something like that, but in contrary, your vehicle looks like, a lot of fun. Jump on and let's go somewhere new. It's very welcoming, very, very appealing. And I understand, you took some design cues going back to some of your favorite vehicles, favorite models, like from the 70s. And so, look back at some things that really stuck out to you to draw inspiration for the design. Is that correct?
Yeah, no, exactly. I took a lot of inspiration from old cars, just because the way they used to make them, they were limited in their manufacturing techniques. And that's why the cars look the way they are, basically, because they didn't have the entire freedom that we have these days. So I really admired that. So I kind of wanted to bring that back and combine that with the technology that we have right now, which is pretty much all the freedom, but still having a bit of a traditional aspect to it was kind of what we're trying to do.
Yeah, well, I love that. The design is great. Great job on that for sure. There's a lot of first, and you've just listed off, quite a few things that really separates, the vehicle from anything else that's like there. Another first that I'm really excited to learn a little bit more about is that you really are the first brand within the entire industry to introduce, a proprietary platform that allows friends and family to safely share their bikes and kind of customize, their own smart rental contracts with anyone in the network. Why is this, another important kind of component of the product? I'd love to learn more about this if you would share, please.
Yeah, I'm happy to talk about that a little bit further. So that was also something right from the beginning that we decided to integrate, because we were like, okay, we want to build a new electric motorbike that stands out from a design standpoint, has the performance, so it's really easy to use, but still fun. And then we wanted to make sure that it's also technological forward and it is in par with the current standards from a software standpoint that we currently have. So what we've done is, for one, all the bikes have over-the-air update capabilities, so we can very easily push updates to the vehicles to make sure that from a security standpoint, they're up to date. If there's things that we discover throughout time or want to update, we can very easily do that. So that's, we've seen with other companies like Tesla, it's a fairly standard thing, but those are decisions that need to be made right from the beginning. It's very hard to add those later on. So we really thought about that from the beginning. And then the second thing was that the way the bikes communicate to the outside world right now is based on a blockchain network. So if you purchase a paved bike, you also get a digital key. That digital key stores your VIN number, it stores the model, the make, just basic information about the vehicle. And you can think of it as a digital title, because if you own that key, you also own access to the bike. So when you go to the bike, you use your phone, you can unlock the bike, and then you can go for a ride. You can track the bike, there's anti-theft features. So there's a lot of technology built into that. Our second thought then was, okay, if we have digital keys, then it should be fairly easy to share those keys with other people. Because if you think about it, if you're riding to work every day, that vehicle is going to be sitting outside from 9 to 6 or 9 to 5. In that time, somebody else could be using it, and you could potentially make some money on your initial investment of purchasing the bike, because you can rent it out. So that's the functionality we built in, is that you can share your digital key with anybody else on the network and set up a smart rental contract with whoever that person is and say, okay, I want you to pick up the bike here, drop it off there. I'm charging you based on the miles driven in that time. And if you break the contract, I'm going to take your deposit away. So it really is just basically a peer-to-peer sharing system. You're only interacting with the other person that you're sharing it with. And if we think about it from kind of a more environmentally friendly perspective, in the end, you're getting a lot more use out of a vehicle, and you don't run into that problem where there's thousands of shared scooters or bicycles or anything like that are a lot of times not being used
and scrapped.
You get a lot more efficiency out of it because an owner is going to be a little bit more selective maybe with who they share it with. They'll be very happy if they earn some money off of it. And the idea is that over time, they can make the money back that they've spent on the initial bike.
Wow. What a proposition, to potential buyers of it, to share that not only are you not driving the vehicle that you had before and probably saving a lot in gas money, now being that the vehicle is electric, but on top of all of those benefits, it also prevents a opportunity to earn some money to offset that upfront cost as well. So that's quite a proposition to individuals. So it's really, really impressive that you had the foresight to kind of see that up front and have that kind of within your vision and even within the development of your first model. So that's incredible to hear. And speaking of that first model that you touched on a little bit, so this month, Pave Motors officially launches the Pave BK. I'm certainly in the market for one. I live in a downtown area, downtown Dallas, as I shared, so I spend a lot of time down here, and I see firsthand, as you do in Berlin and Brooklyn and the Dallas area here, there's got to be a better way to move around this city. And so for me and many of us that are certainly in the market for one, can you tell us a little bit more about the vehicle that you're launching this month?
Yes, absolutely. So it's, as you said, it's the Pave BK. It's our first flagship model. It falls into the motor-driven cycle class. So that means in the majority of the states in the US, you will not need to have a motorcycle license to operate it. You just need to have a driver's license. It's fully street legal. It has motorcycle spec brakes. So we've really made sure that it has secure brakes. We have regen braking, which even gives you a better braking behavior. And the top speed's capped at 30 miles per hour, which is very standard for city top speeds. In the majority in New York City, speed limit is capped at 25 miles per hour. So all of our riders should be able to travel with the traffic. The battery is removable, so you can take the battery out. You can charge it at any standard outlet. With our fast charger, you'll be able to get 80% within an hour. So it's quick charging as well. And then we'll be offering some storage options as well. So there's a rear rack where you can strap different things on. We have a center storage. If you see a photo of our bike, the entire center is empty. So it lends itself perfectly for additional storage. And then it's completely keyless. So you use your phone to unlock and lock the bike. You can track the bike. There's anti-theft features. So if someone was to touch your bike or try to move it, you will get a notification. The bikes are equipped with GPS, so you can actually see where the bike is being taken. And lastly, you can share the vehicle with other people in your network to monetize it or just be nice and share it with them for free, just for fun.
Yeah, I love that. What a sales pitch. I'm sold. You don't have a background in like motorbike or vehicle sales or anything, do you? That was good. Okay. That's awesome.
I'm working on it right now.
Yeah, that was cool. I love it. Well, I would love, to travel around a little bit more efficiently. I'd love to add a little bit of fun to my morning commute. So that sounds cool. I love the storage. I've seen some videos, and I think the storage is incredible. And so I think for the vast majority of people, plenty of storage, for any and everything. And I didn't realize that the quick charge was that quick as well. I mean, less than an hour. That really opens up a new world of possibilities in terms of the idea that I can, travel on it a fair distance. And even if I'm, stopping to have a meal or something like that, it's not that crazy to think of the idea of just plugging in at a restaurant or something like that, or plugging in somewhere and charging it back up while I'm doing an activity or eating or something like that, and then I'm fully charged, to head back home. So that really sounds like that extends the range that much more, having that quick charge feature. That's really cool to hear.
Yeah. I mean, we're super happy with it, and we're always looking for new battery technologies. So the great thing about our industry is that we're growing with the industry overall. Battery technology is getting better, chargers are getting more efficient. So there's more to come there. We're always looking out for new battery partners, charging partners, to be able to offer the best products to our riders.
Yeah. Well, I was curious to hear, when was the last time that you jumped on one, and you already answered that question this morning. You were traveling around, so it sounds like just even within your daily lives, not just the product testing, but it sounds like you're always product testing. But it sounds like you're already benefiting from moving around Brooklyn and the city on the motorbike. So it sounds like something that you're pretty much enjoying every day already.
Yes,
pretty much, yeah. And I mean, we use the bikes to bring things back and forth. So between this space that we're in right now and our basically assembly line, so the torch gets handy pretty much all the time.
Yeah, very cool, very cool. Well, like I said, I'm sold. I'm ready to get one, and I know that there's going to be a lot of audience members out there that, like me, are going to be really excited to learn more and excited to get their own. So, would you mind maybe directing the audience to where they can, learn more about the Pave BK and also how they might be able to get one for themselves?
Yeah, check us out on pavemotors.com, pavemotors.com, or our Instagram, Pave Motors, Twitter, Pave Motors, LinkedIn, Pave Motors. Send us a message. We always will answer. And if for any listeners in New York City, please reach out. We're constantly doing test rides. We love having people. We love getting feedback. So, send us a note.
Very nice. Gosh, you make it easy. That sounds really good. Yeah. Well, I really appreciate that. I strongly encourage, audience members to do just that and to check out the Pave BK, because it's an incredible vehicle. And I was really excited about it before the conversation today, but after learning more, it just makes all the sense in the world. And this definitely is a better way to move around the city. And in a world of kind of traditional silver sedans, why not jump on a Pave BK and separate yourself a little bit from everyone else and have a little more fun as you move around the city? So to me, it sounds like just an incredible solution and a way that you can add a little fun and a new experience, into kind of your normal routine. So really appreciate you both, Nico and Casper, for taking the time to talk today and sharing more about your incredible vehicle and the company. Again, just congratulations on what you've accomplished. And I just really appreciate you taking the time to talk. This has been a lot of fun.
Yeah, likewise. No, thanks so much for kind of giving us opportunity to kind of tell the story as well.
Yeah, thank you, Grant. It's been very great.
You're very welcome. Very welcome. Well, I'll let you jump back on the motorbike and head out to the next destination and have some fun. But enjoy the beautiful weather that you're having and the rest of your day. And again, just congratulations and thanks for taking the time to stop by. Appreciate it.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.